We're joined now by McKinney High School soccer coaches Alex Pantarotto and Alan Pocock. Guys, welcome back to Sports Talk. It's good to have you here.
Great to be back at the Sports Talk desk with you, Mike.
Now, Alex, let's talk a little bit. Let's get started. Tell us about who you were counting on to contribute this year. Who were the people coming back, and who were the new people you were counting on as the season started?
Well, actually, I count on everybody because we had a tremendous year last year, and pretty much everybody came back. And with the addition of a few freshmen that we had, I thought we had a very good team.
Who were some of these freshmen that were able to break into the team?
Well, I think the big attraction for everybody, I guess, was Lauren Toby and of course, Hale Otto, and brought also Caitlin Rory. Right. And so I think those three, they had high expectations, but we actually had 7 freshmen on the team. So I'm trying to groom some more people because in a couple of years we're going to lose a bunch of good players, and trying to get those ready to go.
So trying to be prepared for the next level, the next stage.
Yes, sir.
Well, Coach Pocock, how about you? Who were some of the important people coming back from last year's team, and who were some of the upcoming freshmen?
Was really this season going to need to lean on anybody that had any minutes in our regional tournament trip 2 years ago, and actually it turns out only one player that was competing this year, Josh McAllister, ever saw the field down there at Round Rock. So we competed this year with 20 first-year varsity players, and a lot of question marks and holes to try to fill. Had a good first semester preseason, but you can only scrimmage JV so much and have any realistic conclusions out of that. So to open up the season with a surprise win, giving Wakeland their only loss of the year so far, with this group of really just put together, all new defenders, all new midfielders, all new forwards, many new positions. Things looked great, but also you know that you're always treading a fine line with so many new faces of, okay, how are things really going to turn out when you get to district?
Well, you mentioned blending all these in. You started out pretty well. You won 6 of your first 10 games. I mean, were you thinking, hey, we got this stuff figured out?
Yeah, I remember after the Wakeland win saying, guys, we're ready for this year. We're not ready for March or April by any means right now, because we were extremely fortunate that Wakeland had a very terrible day finishing at that first weekend in January tournament game. But we still uncovered a lot of our shortcomings that haunted us the rest of the year, which was in pre-district and all the way through district, putting together some great scoring opportunities, but just struggling with composure and experience in being able to finish. So cost us some points.
It was a good start, but there were some things on the horizon.
Yeah.
Now, Coach, you kind of had the opposite start to the season. You started out 1-3. Now, you lost to some good teams. You lost to Hebron, Frisco, and Saxe. All 3 teams, good quality teams, highly ranked in the state. But what were you thinking after the 3rd loss?
We were playing well. We played Hebron very well on that tournament. The Frisco game was a little strategy thing in terms of playing some players, especially all the freshmen that we had. So I decided to play them, and they did okay against the number 2 ranked team in the state. So I was very happy with that.
And then you dominated play really against Saxe, but they got one shot, it went in.
Yes.
And that's almost a microcosm for the season.
Yeah, and for some reason we had the opportunities to win the game. I thought the girls had a very good first half. But really in the second half, for some reason we found no rhythm on the field. We didn't create the situations that we created in the first half. I've been thinking about that loss and thinking about that everybody at the beginning of the year were thinking that because of the run we made on 6A last year, that we're going to be very successful all the way to state. And I kept saying, guys, we got to go one game at a time, one ball at a time. But unfortunately, I think there was something that the girls felt that with 50% of their effort, they could go beat anybody. And that's not the way it is. I think we need to show up to play every single game and take every game seriously, because there's no tomorrow, right? Once you lose, right, you're out. So I always think this is a great experience for them, because some of them got to experience the defeat part when they didn't expect it, and now they're empty-handed. So I hope this is a growing part for this group, so next year we can approach the district in a different way.
Now, let's go ahead and talk just a little bit about district. So you had some struggles early on. You weren't very concerned, but you did notice some things that you felt were amiss. But then you basically breezed through district play. You end up winning the District 10 5A championship. Congratulations on that. You only lost 2 games. The 2 games happened to be to the 3rd place team, Wiley. Just give us a quick district recap.
At the beginning of the year, I thought the fact that we were playing Wiley East and they were returning just about everybody and coming out of a state final, that was going to be the team to beat. I thought we can fare well against the other teams, but soccer has those things that some team will beat you no matter what. In the case of Wakeland, it's the same way. I think we haven't been able to beat Wakeland in a long time. So, in my eyes, when you face those teams, you need an extra effort in order to beat those teams. We were not able to beat Wiley, despite the fact that we had plenty of opportunities to do that. In fact, we missed a PK at home against them while we were dominating. So it's part of the game. It's part of the game. The girls know that when you miss the opportunities, the other team will take care of them.
Well, let's look at some positive opportunities. We have some highlights from your season right at the end of the season. You have highlights of the North game, the Prosper game, and your last game of the regular season, Lovejoy. So let's look at those. This is a corner kick against North. Lauren Tovey on the corner, right? Cece Guerrero on the corner, or Cece Guerrero on the corner, Tovey with the goal.
Yes, what a weird game that scoring 7 goals at North, when usually it's a 1 or 2 goal difference. But that game, for some reason, everything that we did, it was right. So I felt that it was an outstanding performance by all of them. So I really think that we needed to capitalize on that win and give us a momentum into going into the next games, which it did.
So you're taking on North. It looks like you're at your stadium at home, and not a typical North game you mentioned. Usually they're 1 or 2-0 or 1-1 or 2-1, something like that, and this ends up being a 7-2 game.
Yeah, and actually, if you get to watch this game, there were a lot of things going on. Because it rained previously, and it was the turf was very wet, and the ball kept skipping, so it was very difficult to play. But for some reason, everything that we work in practice, it worked on that game, and so I'm proud of that. But we got to be more consistent in all the games and not just 1 or 2 games.
Right. So there are some of the games you had where it didn't matter what you did, it just didn't seem to work out, and then some games where everything just went right.
Yeah. And maybe part of that is the fact that we had a lot of freshmen playing, and that gives you some lack of continuity on the field that we need, So.
It's very quick, but there's one of your freshmen, Katie Crane, finishing.
Yeah. Prosper was a very tough match. In fact, one of my defenders said at halftime, the coach, they're very fast, they're very quick. And I said, I know. But the girls, again, came through and won this game for us. It's something weird how soccer is. Prosper has not won a playoff game, despite the fact that they're very, very competitive. And so that's going to be the team to beat next season, I think.
And then the final game in the highlights was against Lovejoy. And that was your last regular season game, and the score was it 2-0?
Yes, sir. It was 2-0. We were already district champs, so maybe the girls were a little bit more relaxed. The score didn't matter here. However, I asked the girls, hey, do you want to finish with a loss, or do you want to finish with a win on the last game before we go to playoffs? And they all responded that they wanted to finish with a win. So it was a good game. I thought we had several opportunities. I was not very happy about the referees during that game, but that's part of it. No, I don't know any coach that is very happy about the referees all the time.
And whether you like the referees or not, you still have to play the game to win, right?
Yeah.
You got to deal with them.
Absolutely. Even if you have to play against 12 on the field.
I don't know if it's against 12, but you do have to adjust it just like something else on the field.
Right.
All right. Well, thanks for bringing those highlights. Now, Coach, tell us about your district season. Was the McKinney North game at home a turning point? It went not to overtime, but it ended in a tie. They were down a man, ended in a tie in regulation. You went to penalty kicks, and they won. Was that?
I don't know. I think that the turning point was having to deal with just momentum robbing injuries. It was hard to put together more than a 2-game win streak. And two, a group with so many first-time varsity players, nobody has really got the experience of how to, with that much pressure in a crosstown varsity game with district playoff implications, respond to the stressors during a game. Last year, tied against North. Actually, North scoring first on an own goal. The guys with varsity experience put away 2 goals in the last 5 minutes to win that match. There's only a handful of guys on the team this year that were even in varsity uniforms last year, let alone that had minutes in there. So to keep every game so close, and even a few surprises like 3-0 win against Lovejoy, and just 1-goal losses against Wiley East, just a juggernaut goal scoring, and also to piece together multiple defensive units that still recorded the second fewest goals in district was a major accomplishment. Repeating actually virtually the same record as last year's group, I felt was an accomplishment, not like a season goal or anything. Right. Yes, disappointing to miss out, by 1 game on a winning district record, but to have a winning overall season and just be virtually a goal short in several games, including that tie against North. I guess I take a positive out of that. Look, these guys with so much inexperience in the varsity arena were able to keep us in contention all the way up to the last game of district, and it's gut-wrenching to have to go through that. But such a coachable group, right. Incredible students, more academic all-states and academic all-districts than we've ever had of any unit, and that's from freshmen all the way up to seniors. It's worked so hard, and that's why I felt so bad for this group, especially seniors, to not have the opportunity to carry over, the district record of 11 straight playoff appearances. But to come up empty-handed there. That's the gold standard that the Lions soccer program has set, is regardless of any other accomplishments in the year, did you make playoffs? And So that's what all the alumni and players coming up will judge the program by. But in goal scoring, we were better, scored more goals this year, gave up fewer goals this year. In terms of the district, that robbed us of a playoff spot. Our injuries and experience and finishing struggles.
Now, as you look toward next year, Coach Pantarotto, you won the district championship, but you lost in the bi-district round against Frisco Wakeland 1-0. How do you build on that? What do you fix? How do you move on for next year? What is your goal?
Well, the goal for us is to continue developing the way we play. I thought tactically I wasn't very happy about how things worked out. I'm always unhappy about things like that. So I really need to make sure that we continue with the winning, because that's all it is for us. We need to continue winning. We made playoffs for 9 years in a row, and I think the expectation is always for our soccer programs, boys and girls, to be in playoffs. I mean, that's the expectation, and we take that seriously.
So the boys had a streak of 10 straight playoff appearances. We're gunning for the 11th, but that got snapped this year. You've got a streak of 9, so it seems like that's a great standard to have set, and obviously for the high school and for McKinney High ISD.
Yes, I agree. I think Alan and I have been very successful in coaching our programs, and the fact that we got great support from Jeff Smith and from Sean Pratt and Valerie, I think that all help us make sure that we do a good job for the district.
All right, well, that's McKinney High School soccer with coaches Alex Pantarotto and Alan Pocock.